Hydra, the immortal serpent and the paradox of cutting one, growing two. In the desolate marshlands near Lerna, where the fog never lifts and the waters reek of something ancient and foul, there lurked a creature even the gods hesitated to speak of, not because of its monstrous form, but because its very existence defied the laws of nature. A beast that, when one of its heads was severed, two more would grow in its place. An immortal symbol, an eternal threat, a living paradox of survival through multiplication. This was the Hydra, the nine-headed serpent of the Lernaean swamp. More than just a physical trial in Heracles' 12 labors, Hydra was a philosophical metaphor in disguise. A creature that asked a haunting question. Every time you try to destroy a problem with brute force, do you risk creating two more in its place? Let this be a story not just of monsters, but of meaning. The birth of Hydra, the Lerna swamp, and the curse of immortality. In a forgotten corner of ancient Greece, where thick forests blocked out the sun and streams wept like the voices of forsaken souls, there lay a shadowed land known as Lerna. To the unknowing eye, it was merely a swamp. But to the ancients, it was feared as a gateway to Hades, the underworld, the realm of death. And it was at this very boundary between life and death that a monster was born. Hydra, a multi-headed serpent, daughter of Typhon, the most terrifying creature ever to challenge Zeus, and Echidna, the half-woman, half-snake mother of all monsters. If Typhon was nature's storming fury, then Echidna was the quiet terror beneath the earth. Hydra was their legacy, merciless savagery fused with undying survival. Unlike other beasts driven by blind instinct, Hydra seemed deliberate. It didn't roam to destroy. It stayed, guarding the swamp, protecting a secret no one truly knew. Some whispered that beneath the Lernaean waters flowed a sacred spring, once used by goddesses for rebirth. But ever since Hydra claimed it, none who approached returned, torn apart by fangs and shrieks that sounded like ancient grudges reborn. Each of Hydra's heads bore the face of venomous death, red eyes glowing, fangs dripping acid, breath so toxic it withered trees. But its most terrifying trait was not how it looked, it was how it refused to die. For every head severed, two more would grow in its place. No one knew the true source of this cursed resilience. Some said Echidna had fed it her own blood, whispering a mother's curse. You shall never die, as long as your enemies choose violence. Others believed the very land of Lerna had been cursed, so that nothing within it could truly die, only multiply in pain. Even the gods dared not touch Hydra. Artemis, goddess of the hunt, and Ares, god of war, neither afraid of battle, chose not to waste their time with a creature whose strength grew with every strike against it. And so Hydra, alone and cruel, grew among the black waters, becoming the symbol of the undefeatable, a festering force that thrived on flawed solutions. The more you fought it with force, the more it spread like a plague of vengeance. Until one day, Heracles arrived. A mortal man, not a god. A hero, condemned to perform 12 labors to atone for the madness that made him slay his own wife and children. And the second of those labors was to kill Hydra. It seemed simple enough, slay a beast. But Heracles would soon learn. The most fearsome monsters aren't always the strongest. They're the ones that never stop coming back. Heracles in Lerna, the endless battle with Hydra. Darkness smothered Lerna like a suffocating shroud. Every step Heracles took made the black mud hiss, like whispers from the earth itself, warning of the horror that lay ahead. No birds flew. No insects chirped. Even the air seemed to hold its breath, waiting for something dreadful to awaken. And then, Heracles arrived. Draped over his shoulder was the impenetrable lion's skin, the trophy from his first labor, where he strangled the Nemean lion with his bare hands. His eyes burned not with pride, but with weary resolve, the gaze of a man who had tasted tragedy, who knew that every victory was merely a step toward atonement. Beside him walked Iolaus, his loyal nephew, often forgotten by history, yet essential to this tale. Heracles came prepared. Before entering the cave where Hydra dwelled, he blocked a nearby stream with a massive stone to keep floodwaters from pouring in mid-battle. In his mind echoed the rumors of Hydra's regenerative curse. But a hero cannot be turned back by fear alone. He stepped into the cavern. It opened like the mouth of a beast, breathing poison. The stench of blood and decay stung his lungs. And then it came. Hydra, a writhing mass of serpent flesh, its many heads screamed like damned souls. At the center loomed the largest head, glowing with malice, eyes alight with the confidence of something that could not die. Its roar shook the cave walls, thickening the air with dread. Heracles struck. One head fell, but from the wound, two more burst forth, hissing, shrieking, spewing venom into the air. Another swing, another multiplication. Each strike was a mistake. His strength, once his greatest weapon, had become his greatest trap. He stepped back, not in fear, but in understanding. This was no ordinary foe. This was an idea made flesh, a living metaphor for evils that grow stronger when attacked without wisdom. Then Iolaus shouted, "Use fire." In that moment of clarity, Heracles cut, and Iolaus burned the wounds, searing the stumps before new heads could rise. Simple, yet brilliant. Power alone would never win this fight. Only reason, only teamwork, could overcome this curse. One by one, the heads fell. One by one, they were cauterized, until only the immortal central head remained. It could not be cut. It could not be burned. The curse protected it from all ordinary death. So Heracles lifted his iron club and shattered it, then buried it beneath a massive boulder, sealing the undying head in eternal darkness. It was not slain, but it was silenced. Before leaving, Heracles dipped his arrows in Hydra's toxic blood. Whether he knew that very poison would one day bring about his own end remains a mystery. But that is another tale. For now, Heracles walked away, leaving behind scorched marshes where evil once thrived, and a legend carved into the blackened soil of Lerna. The philosophy of cut one, two grow, Hydra in myth and the human mind. Among all the monsters of mythology, Hydra stands apart. It was never just a beast to be slain, it was a symbol, a profound metaphor for the nature of evil, fear, and the inner conflicts that dwell within us all. Hydra, with its heads that multiplied when severed, was not only Heracles' torment, but humanity's eternal question. Are there evils that cannot be destroyed by force? Are there problems that grow stronger the more we try to crush them with violence? Think about it. Does Hydra still exist in our modern lives? It may not breathe poison or slither through swamps, but it appears as extremism, as suppressed hatred, as unresolved trauma. Every time we try to silence a problem through control, denial, or force, without listening or understanding, we're cutting off one of Hydra's heads, only to see two more grow. Heracles' battle wasn't just a myth, it was a lesson. He nearly failed by relying only on brute strength. Only when he worked with Iolaus, using fire, symbol of reason, of enlightenment, did he stop Hydra's regeneration. So what is Hydra really? It's a broken system. Cut one piece, it grows back worse. It's the pain we avoid, spreading deeper the more we ignore it. It's the invisible violence in society and in ourselves, festering, toxic, multiplying in silence. And the immortal central head? That's our deepest fear. It cannot be killed, only contained, only restrained by courage, wisdom, and the will to face the truth. Heracles, symbol of humankind, didn't destroy it completely, but he subdued it. And then, he turned its poison into a weapon. He transformed fear into strength. That's the deeper truth of Greek mythology. We cannot destroy darkness, but we can learn to live with it, to master it, not by brute force, but with wisdom, courage, and the strength to walk together through the shadows. The legacy of Hydra, when immortality is a curse. Though Heracles defeated it thousands of years ago in myth, the Hydra, the beast with the immortal head, has never truly died. It lives on, not in the swamps of Lerna, but in the human mind, in metaphors, in the deepest fears we cannot name. Hydra has become a timeless symbol, echoing across politics, philosophy, literature, and modern pop culture. Look around us. In times of war, oppressive regimes, terrorist groups, and crime syndicates are often called Hydras. Cut off one branch, and two more take its place. To destroy Hydra, one must strike not at the surface, but at the root, at the immortal head, the part no sword can touch. In philosophy, Hydra reflects the fragmented self, where repressing emotions only gives rise to darker forces. Carl Jung once said, The shadow you refuse to face becomes your fate. Isn't that Hydra in disguise? In modern psychology, it stands for unhealed trauma. Try to bury a painful memory? It returns as depression and rage. Suppress a fear? It grows back as anxiety and sleepless nights. Cut 1, 2 grow. That's Hydra. And in pop culture, from comics to cinema, Hydra remains irresistibly iconic. Think of Marvel's Hydra, a faceless force that only grows stronger the more it is attacked. Why do we find such villains so compelling? Perhaps because deep down, we all sense a truth. Evil never dies. It simply changes form. So why is Hydra's immortal head a curse? Because anything that cannot die cannot grow. Hydra, the evil that never ends, haunts us not just as a myth, but as a warning. If we refuse to confront our darkness, if we don't try to understand it, we will be consumed by what we cannot destroy. Heracles didn't kill Hydra's immortal head. He buried it beneath a great stone. And in that act, we find the truth. We don't need to destroy all pain, all evil, all fear. We must restrain it, understand it, and live beside it consciously. And so, Hydra never truly died. It lives within us, in our silent rage, our hidden fears, our unchecked ambition. And only when we face it, with the light of reason and the fire of self-awareness, can we walk through darkness and not be devoured. The Hydra within us. Hydra is more than a myth. It's a living metaphor for the endless inner battles we all face. Heracles, armed with strength, resolve, and the help of Iolaus, didn't just slay a monster. He symbolized growth, evolving from a man who fought with fists to a hero who fought with wisdom, teamwork, and respect for limits. And us? Each of us carries a Hydra of our own, a nameless fear, an unhealed wound, a destructive habit that keeps coming back. But you can be Heracles. You don't need to be invincible, just unwavering. And if you carry the fire of understanding, you can hold onto the light, even in the darkest place.